Hello and welcome to another benefit of the Doud review. We are back from hiatus and we are raring to go. Cliff, how you doing today?
Oh, you know me. I'm. You know what? I'm rested. That's what I am. Feeling
Yeah,
good.
yeah, I'm not, but cool, good for you. Uh,
Well,
Jeez. Anyway,
I had a week on a farm,
yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah, it was interesting. Taking
yeah,
care of chickens and donkeys, and
nice,
uh, and a cat and a dog, and out in the middle
cool.
of rural Virginia. So yeah, it was. It's. But I'm glad to be back, and I hear we have a phone to talk about.
We do have a phone to talk about, and this is a phone that I've actually had for a few months now. But it's just it suddenly got busy. Like normally, this is the slow time when nothing gets released, and as it turns out, that has absolutely not been the case. So I have the Infinix Note 40 Pro Plus, I guess. Yeah, that's a kind of a cumbersome name, but here we go. Yeah, it's the Infinix Note 40 Pro Plus. It's a 5G phone. Comes from the company Infinix, obviously, and yeah, I've been toting this phone. It's been kind of like a third phone for me for a while now, but I've gotten some. I've been able to put it through its paces, and I'm ready to share some thoughts. Now, if you've read the title description, you know what my Halo feature is. We're not going to talk about that just yet. We're going to close things out with that. That's what we call a teaser in the biz.
Mm,
But so
in
we're
the
going to talk about
business.
everything else. Yeah, we're going to talk about everything else first. And in order to do that, we need our third companion on this podcast, Mr. Skippy. So hello, Skippy.
The third feature
So
is gaffer's tape, isn't it?
that's well, yeah. But that's I take that everywhere. And like true story, I was at another phone launch recently, and I sat down. I had my gaffer's tape hanging from my bag, and one of the guys that I was one of my buddies that I usually hang out with looks over and says, "Why do you have gaffer's tape with you?" And I'm like, "Why don't you?" And
Ah,
so yeah, it goes back to like, everybody asks me why I have gaffer's tape with me, and then they ask me to borrow it. So, there you go. So, okay, so this is the Infinix Note 40 Pro Plus. It is a honking big phone. This is
it
a
is.
6.78 inch screen. It's off for some reason. I don't remember turning it off, but we're gonna power it up
Well,
right now.
people like seeing the loading screen, seeing what the
Yeah.
what Infinix offers there. It's got the
Yep.
new
Yep.
power, the new placement and logo with the powered by Android, which is cool.
Yeah. Yep. It's Android 14, by the way.
Nice.
And while we wait for this puppy to boot up, it's not going to ask me to set it up, I hope. But, honestly, with the way this podcast has gone so far, wouldn't shock me. Anyway, so no, this is on the inside, we have a MediaTek Dimensity 7020 processor, which is an octa-core
72. Oh, 7020. Sorry.
7020. It's a 6
I thought it said
nanometer.
7200. It's just a bunch of numbers these days. I'm telling you. I just can you imagine like being a MediaTek product manager and trying to remember
No,
what the differences are between these pieces?
I mean, the same. You could say the same thing about most
Oh,
like
yeah.
processors
Totally.
and
Totally.
honestly, most phone lines too. Like, what's the difference between a One Plus 11 and a One Plus 12 or whatever? I don't know. Anyway, I'll take this away while I
I
put
was
in my.
talking specifically about how there's the 7200 that is in the Nothing Phone 2A, and then you have the
Right.
7020. It's just anyway. I
Right.
digress.
Yeah. So, and this particular phone has, it's 256 gigabytes of storage and 12 gigabytes of RAM. So it's got a pretty potent lineup here.
Sure.
And I
Would you
think
call
it
this
just
like a
turned back off.
mid-range device?
I would say it's I wouldn't say mid-range yeah, it just turned off. It must be dead. That's probably why it was
Nice.
there. We're doing real well here. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
on the back, you'll notice that there are 3 massive camera sensors here. I'm plugging it now so we don't shut that down. And those 3 massive camera sensors are 108 megapixels main camera and 2 megapixels and 2 megapixels. So, yeah. Interestingly enough, this is the second phone that I've used this month that does not have an ultra wide camera. Isn't that kind of weird? Like I have trouble remembering the last phone that I used that didn't have an ultra wide camera, and I believe it might have been, it was the Pixel 3 or Pixel 4, one of the two, shipped without an ultra wide camera. And Google at the time said, well, we felt it was more important to zoom in rather than to get an ultra wide thing. And so anyway,
I know what the other one is, by the way, but I can't say anything.
Right. Well, I mean, we can now. It's out there. We just can't do a review on it yet. But anyway, probably better safe than sorry. We'll just go ahead and say, we won't bring that up. But anyway, yeah. So this thing is not charging, which is awesome. Hey, it's at 1%. There we go. This is such a great podcast.
Yeah,
you know what? Come for the tech, stay for the fuck ups. There we go.
There you go. Well, I mean, we just pivoted to the back of the phone. We're talking about the cameras now first rather than the software, and everything's fine.
Right. And you know what? While we're waiting for the phone to boot up for a third time, why don't we just go ahead and drop in some camera samples? Because that's just, I guess that's just what we're doing now. I managed
hold on, just very quickly. The flash or whatever that is on the back of that.
Yeah, it glows in like different light, like it does like a rainbow kind of thing when you're first turning on the phone.
That's cool.
So yeah, it's kind of baller in that respect. Let's see here. Okay, we're at 2%, so we are actually charging, so that's good. But
I thought the first time I saw that it was just a trick the light or something. Is it doing something? But now, yeah, when it boots up, I saw it do it again. So
yeah, exactly.
I'm not going insane. Exactly. All right.
No, you are sure samples. Not. So yeah, let's go ahead and fire up some camera samples. So I took this phone with me to Copenhagen, which is a trip that we will discuss in more detail over on the Patreon channel. Because that's a thing that we're doing now. So keep that in mind. But let me go ahead and share some photos.
Yeah, and while that's coming up, yeah, definitely. If you're interested in some exclusive content, go to Patreon / I believe Benefit of the Doud.
Yep, patreon.com/Benefit of the Doud.
Sign up for that and
sign up for that.
I think the plan is to do some more longer form content, but
yeah,
we're still kind of.
Yeah, we're gonna get into more detail on that. We're gonna have like a whole separate video talking about that.
Exactly.
But, all right. So this first photo is from my happy place, Great America.
That's not Copenhagen.
It is not
all
Copenhagen.
the SUVs.
I managed to grab some sample photos, daytime sample photos, before we went to Copenhagen. So, and like the choices for the camera are 1x and 3x, and that's it. And I believe the 3x is just a sensor crop too, because there is only one main sensor on this camera, and the other two are megapixel. The other two are 2 megapixel sensors, one for depth and I believe one for macro. But anyway, so yeah, so this is some selfie cam stuff. This isn't bad except for the the Santa Claus face I have going on here.
Yeah.
But it's a little washed out, you can tell.
Yeah, it's definitely washed out.
Let's see.
That's the front facing camera?
These are back to the rear facing camera, but yes, the
Right.
original selfie was front facing. And actually, like the cool part is like with the 3x sensor crop, you actually do get quite a bit closer
Yeah.
because all these sets, these are both being taken in the same spot. I'm just like literally just doing click 3 click, so you're getting quite a bit closer with these, which is nice. And it is theoretically lossless. Here's going to be another one that's like, oh wow, you can get a lot closer with that. So let's go over, and yeah, we're not going to talk about the selfie camera too much because that's a little bit yuck.
Similar results.
Yeah.
At least it's consistent.
So now we're in Copenhagen. Now this picture, you might look at this and say, "Oh, this looks a little bit blurry."
Hey, there's an ID Buzz.
It might have been. I don't remember. But you might.
That's a Volkswagen ID. Anyway.
You might look at this photo and say, "That's a little bit blurry," but that's because I actually took this photo while I was riding a bike. So
okay.
So yeah, and this one as well. So which I actually thought was interesting that the crop kind of sharpened things up a little bit because I was still in motion when I took this photo. Then there's a few other photos that I took that where I was stationary. It's a fountain, the same fountain from a different angle, and minor child pornography going on there. And then we have a church, and then this is me in front of a church, and this is a selfie cam, and I believe this is portrait. And the other thing I noticed about the portrait is the background is not nearly as blurry as you normally see. There's not nearly as much bokeh as you would normally see.
I would not have guessed that that's a portrait mode photo at all.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't have either. But I mean, like, so this is not portrait, and then this is portrait. So like
no difference.
Yeah, it's this, as they say in The Office, it's the same picture. No, I mean, it's a little bit blurry in the background here. You can tell that the bricks are sharper in this particular photo, but then we go back to portrait, and again, you get a little bit of it, but not a whole heck of a lot.
That's what we refer to here as token bokeh.
Yeah,
just a taste to let you know it's there.
I don't know that we actually refer to it like that, but we're gonna go.
Well, we do now.
Anyway, so this is Tivoli. This is the amusement park that I went to while I was in Copenhagen. I went on a Danish roller coaster. I was very happy about that. And then once again, 1x, 3x, and most of these are going to be like 1x, 3x. So as I'm scrolling through here, this is the Lego store. These will all be 1x. So there's that one. There's that one. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip ahead until we get to, I'm going to kind of yada through the rest of Copenhagen until we get to the night stuff. Okay, so then these are photographs that I took at night. And that's my kiddo. One thing that happens at night is you lose a lot of the depth. There's not a lot of texture here. Like it kind of looks like a drawing of my son rather than my son, and he was really thrilled to be there, as you can tell.
You can tell. He's loving it.
In this particular shot, he's actually waving his hand back and forth, and I mean, interestingly enough, it's not that blurry, like compared to what you would find on a lot of mid-range cameras. So I'm not going to say it's good, but it's probably better than some. Selfie shot. And another selfie shot. And then on this one, I think I captured an image of a demon. I don't know what that is going on over there. It's a tree, but it kind of looks like a demon. I mean, this is a selfie camera, and you can tell it's kind of bad. Another, and then these are waving flags. So I did that to kind of see how the camera catches motion, and again, not too shabby. In terms
for low
of
light
that.
Specifically, yeah. And
yeah,
that's kind of a dynamic. That's a dynamic lighting situation too, because you got dark background, like definitely bright lights shining on the flags. Is that a little lens flare, or is that a cloud up in the top right?
That I believe is lens flare.
Just curious. I see a little bit. Yeah, I actually see like a. Okay. Anyway.
So moving along, there's my son just sitting and doing his thing, and then a lot of people have seen these photos before. This is Village Hall. You can it's a little bit on the blurry side, especially the words around the
Yeah.
seal there. More waving flags. Um, this one is way overexposed, and I could not crank that down. When we zoom in a little bit, it actually gets a little bit better, which I thought
Definitely.
was
Yeah.
kind of interesting. But again, like you're losing a lot of the depth, like in the grass in the background here.
Hmm.
It just looks like it kind of looks like a bed of
It,
rice
I,
rather than
it just feels very flat.
yeah. And then this is super night mode, so it looks very similar to the rest, and then just a couple of other night shots, and I think that about does it for the camera photos
What's
or for
the
the camera samples.
what is the U.S. equivalent price for this? I'm just curious. So we kind of
This
know.
Yeah. So this phone is. Oh, I had that written down here somewhere. Where is it?
Because this feels like about a $250 camera set as far as the kinds of
Um,
phone.
I would say it's a little bit better than that. Like I've seen some really bad cameras in that particular price
True,
range.
true.
I would if I had to guess. I You know what? I'm not sure what the pricing is on this. I thought I had it written down, but it's not in my notes here anywhere.
This is the. Hold on. Let's
All right, no,
find it
here
real
it is.
quick.
I'm sorry, here it is. Around 300 euro.
Okay.
So yeah, that was a
So
good
like
guess,
the
actually.
$310 equivalent, basically.
Yeah, it's the
If you were
euro and
purchasing it
dollar
directly. So
basically.
okay.
Yeah, the euro and dollar are pretty close these days. But
Hmm.
anyway, yeah. So it's not that expensive a phone. The one thing that I wanted to show off was I wanted to do a little bit of a performance test here. I've got Genshin Impact downloaded and ready to roll, or at least I did. Who knows at this point? Um, but oh, let me stop sharing. You stupid thing. Thank you. So, um, anyway, so yeah, we're back to Skippy. We're loading up Genshin. But yeah, overall, like the cameras, I would say are not bad. Like I have
Hmm.
certainly seen worse in that price range. Um, but
I mean, amongst the
here we
things
go.
that you photographed in the different cameras, I was pretty impressed for the price of the phone for the
Yeah,
telephoto. The telephoto actually seemed not bad,
yeah. The telephoto actually seems like it actually does a little bit more cleaning up
which is weird.
than the
It's
main
so
sensor,
weird.
which is a little weird. All right, so here's Genshin Impact. But for the record, I don't like this game. I think it's boring. Um, but
It is a pretty demanding game, though, as far as hardware is
right,
concerned. Yeah.
right, exactly. So, and we haven't even gotten to the good part about this phone yet.
Mm,
That's a
gaffer's tape.
teaser.
Gaffer's
That's a
tape
teaser in the bin. It comes with a roll of gaffer's tape. It
in
does
the
not.
box.
In the box. All right.
Really
So,
big box.
so usually at this point, I try to run around until I can find something to battle. But I mean, like even just running around at this point, you can already see that there's some dropped frames going on here.
Right.
It's not super smooth. Mushroom. So I'll climb the wall and see if we can find something to kill up here. Pardon me. But yeah, so it's like and these are on default graphic settings, which I believe
Hmm.
are medium.
Okay.
Um,
That's what I was going to ask, actually, what you were playing it at settings wise.
I could double check, but if I go to, is it here? No, is it? It's, oh, maybe it's over here.
So I'm
I don't,
noticing just as you're
there we
as
go.
you're
So,
looking there, it's
yeah,
one of those phones that has the first of
graphics.
all, AMOLED screen, I'm guessing.
I believe so.
The reason I say that is it looks like it's got the curved edge, kind of like an older Samsung device. And how do you feel about that?
It's kind of fun. Sorry, I just set this. So the graphics quality was actually set to custom, so I switched it to medium, and it's just like, I don't know, dude.
Yeah, the thing with media chipsets, like typically are pretty performant for the money, but they definitely fall down with the because they just use like the Mali wow. GPU that's like the ARM default, versus like Qualcomm with their Adreno custom GPUs, which seem to be, when you're comparing the same pricing of chips that seem to perform a little bit better. So that's not always the case.
Wow.
But,
I mean, like, even if I'm just standing here, if I just like turn too fast, it's already like dropping
and that's
frames
at medium
and whatnot. And that's a medium. Let me kick it down. Let me kick it down to so I thought it was on medium before, but it was actually on custom. So that's my bad. Some graphic settings will only be applied after you restart the game. I don't want to restart the game, so we'll see what happens. But I mean, you can see it's like stopping and starting.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say. I mean, like I said, I think this is Genshin Impact is definitely a more challenging.
It's a heavy lift.
It's a heavy lift, right? So I think, this could be with the big screen and the mid-range processor. I didn't even see what kind of RAM it had. Was it 12?
12 gigs.
12 gigs. So based on those specs, I mean, I think if you're playing older titles, more casual gaming, this would be a good phone for that, but probably not the best phone for Genshin Impact.
No, certainly not. And I would say like probably Call of Duty Mobile you could swing. I'm not sure I would go any harder core than that.
Okay.
But yeah, like it's kind of remarkable. I actually hadn't played much Genshin Impact because I actually just kind of wanted to do it on live and see how it went.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not going well. But anyway. But go ahead.
I was going to say, so like you said, basically a 6.8 inch screen, 6.78 inches, FHD plus, so full HD plus, and an AMOLED screen that's got the little curved edges. And one thing, I'm just looking at your screen. It looks like the bezels, if they're not symmetrical, are pretty close to it. It doesn't look like it's got much of a chin.
They are pretty close. I want to say that might be just a hair thicker
on the right. Definitely the chin. It's got a little bit of a chin.
It's really, it's microscopic though.
It's
barely.
I mean, I can see it, but again, I mean, this looks like a, between the color, the design of the back. I mean, it's a pretty attractive phone, and it's kind of hard to see on Skippy. But if I just from the pictures from Infinix, the camera housing almost has like a gold finish to it, right?
Yeah, let me I'm actually busy running away from an enemy right now.
The review goes off on rails because you just really get into Genshin Impact, and it's an hour review with 45 minutes of you playing Genshin Impact. Yeah.
It's actually almost like two-tone because this is kind of like a silverish, and this I want to say this is silver as well, but it has like a gold. I want to say it's the glass that covers the camera. That's probably
like a champagne gold.
Yeah, kind of. But yeah, so it's.
I like that.
It's attractive for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. And the body is. This is all vegan leather here, which is nice, and as is the case, which I think we could just go ahead and start talking about the case, shall we?
Let's talk about that. Just while you're getting the case too, I want to say, I hate that outside of probably Motorola, we just don't get a lot of fun colors here in the United States.
Right.
Because this is not a U.S. market device. We should mention that. Infinix
yes, we should.
Primarily sells in Africa.
The price given in euro.
Right. Europe, I believe India, and then in other Asian markets. So,
right. But anyway, so now the reason I was so excited to try this phone out, though, is because this phone ships with a case. And you might be
yeah.
thinking, well, that's not too unusual. But this phone ships with a MagSafe case.
Hmm.
So Infinix ships out this phone MagSafe-compatible or Qi 2 compatible, depending on how you want to
So it has
depending on how you
wireless
want to look
charging,
at it.
and it's Qi 2. Is it
Well, it's
actually
just, I
Qi?
mean, I mean,
MagSafe
probably
compliant.
it's MagSafe compliant. MagSafe is Qi 2 is MagSafe basically, and
Mm-hmm.
Infinix actually has a charging puck which can wirelessly charge the phone if you connect a USB-C cable
Mm-hmm.
to it. So I mean, it's Infinix is all over this Qi 2 MagSafe
Mm-hmm.
deal,
Did that also
and
come in the box, or is that an accessory?
I believe this is an accessory. They shipped it to
Okay.
me with the phone, but I believe it's a
Right.
separate accessory. But I
Still
mean,
really cool.
the thing is, like, it's about time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like, why don't more manufacturers do this? Because MagSafe is awesome, and this definitely goes back to a bias that was built into me by the Palm Pre and whatnot.
Yeah.
Magnetic wireless charging is amazing, and I love it. Which is why I don't have which is why I added a MagSafe ring to the back of my Clicks key
Right. Right.
phone case, because
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't have MagSafe built in, which is a crime, and I've already chastised Michael Fisher for that. So anyway, and he's like, dude, believe me, trust me. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so but the fact that this phone ships with the MagSafe case is awesome. Like, you can
Mm-hmm.
go online, and if you have a popular enough phone like a Samsung Galaxy S, or if you have like a Pixel, maybe even some Motorola phones, you might be able to find a case maker that has gone to the extent of putting in a magnetic ring, around
Mm-hmm.
where the wireless charging should be, which is great, which is lovely. Thank you very much, case makers. All case makers should do this all the time for every case. Um, but um, but just the fact that this phone company ships this phone with a MagSafe case is just awesome. And that means that you can, get out your. Actually, I just got this. Do you remember we did a 3-in-1 travel
Mm-hmm.
charger set from ESR? Well, they have a new
Yes.
one now, which
Hmm.
looks very similar, actually. Kind of funny enough. But so they sent me their latest one, and this will work with this because it's MagSafe and it's Qi. I love it. It's
So
awesome, and it's about time.
it's not that this is actually like a larger conversation that I think is really funny, right? But number
Yeah,
one, a lot of more inexpensive phones come with a case,
right.
which I think is really funny. You would think in terms of like being a value add, like you would get more with a more expensive phone, but that doesn't happen. I mean, a
You
lot.
would think you would want to
This
better
comes with
protect
a
your $800 phone as opposed to a
correct,
$300 phone. Right. Yeah,
but
totally agree.
it's the inverse of that. But most of the time, and take two.
Sorry for those technical issues, but as Cliff was saying before his computer tragically died, a lot of case makers, a lot of phone makers will, like lower end phone makers, will ship their phone with a case, and it was kind of weird that the more expensive phones don't do that. But in this particular case,
Mm-hmm.
this ships with a phone with the case that is MagSafe compatible, and I had just shown off the ESR thing. I've also got this little selfie stick thing that's also MagSafe,
Mm-hmm.
and so you can carry your phone around on a selfie stick. And I also have this tripod here from Spigen, which I wrote about for CNN, and you can attach that to your phone, and you can have a MagSafe I can't set that up because it's too tall to go in underneath Skippy. But you can set up your phone on a tripod,
A little
and
tripod. I think the story there is there are a lot of cool MagSafe accessories, and because it comes with one in the box, you're already one step closer to getting those. So yeah.
Yep. And like my normal wallet is a MagSafe wallet. So just like there's
mine too.
The thing, the moral of the story is that MagSafe has such an ecosystem built up around it, or we can call it Qi 2 if you want, but it's the same animal. But MagSafe has such an ecosystem of devices built up around it. It's almost ridiculous that other manufacturers haven't done this. And just so I wanted to make this video, if for no better reason than to celebrate the Infinix, celebrate the company Infinix for shipping this phone with a MagSafe case, and to encourage them and other phone manufacturers, more of this, please, because I love it, and it is lovely, and everything about it is lovely. And until we actually start getting Qi 2 built into phones, which maybe this fall, yeah, like I don't know, like because we haven't seen a phone with it yet this year. There's no Qi 2 phones out, yet. So maybe the standard was just like officially announced in like, what was it, September, October?
Yeah, I was gonna say fall of last year, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So
and typically the roadmap from what I understand from designing a phone to going
from cocktail
from start to finish, and then getting it approved from the different
you're looking at usually
like about a year, right? They're working about a year out.
I was actually going to say 14 to 18 months, but it might be a little bit. I would guess, like, I'm guessing Samsung maybe next year, like the next S line, the S25s. I would be surprised if they didn't integrate Qi 2 in one form or another. But for now, we have the Infinix. We have the Infinix. Note 40 Pro Plus, and it ships with MagSafe in the box, and that's why I love it. So
sounds good.
Yeah. So that's
looks a lot better than I do right now with this. You're seeing the part of my office you normally don't see.
Yeah.
And I'm using just the camera on this laptop, so
that's okay.
Not only that, but my office doesn't ship with a case with MagSafe either.
No, it doesn't.
So,
and you know what? We need to get on that. But for now, I think that's going to do it for this review of the Benefit of a Doud podcast. Please consider subscribing if somehow you managed to enjoy this video. And if you want some behind the scenes access and some other bonus content, patreon.com/benefit of a Doud. Make sure you hit that like button down below, please. And make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash that bell so you can be notified of all of our new episodes as they air. We're back from hiatus, kind of. We'll probably be better next week. But for now, I want to thank you for watching and for giving us the benefit of the Doud.